Hey, it's your boy Hendo checking in, though, coming to y'all with another video. I want to thank y'all for checking in. You know, we got to 100 subscribers. I truly appreciate y'all. That was in under 28 days. You guys are great. Please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you want me to do a video on in the comments, please, because I want to curate our content to you. You know what I mean? Anyway, the government is saying that black people need to pay for these data centers that they're putting up. Black people, black communities, black counties need to foot the bill. Crazy. They're putting these data centers. I'm sure you heard about them, but they're data centers for AI and things of that sort, and they're taking up massive amounts of water. Now the problem with that is they're putting them in predominantly rural white communities, and the white communities are getting angry about it because their water bill are skyrocketing. Everything is skyrocketing for them. Their cost of living is skyrocketing. So the government in South North Carolina came up with an idea. Let's make the black counties foot the bill.
All right, so North Carolina is currently experiencing a historic drought, raising concerns about the establishment of what are called data centers across the state. Now, these facilities require significant amounts of water to cool their servers, and estimates suggest that a single data center could consume up to 2.5 million gallons of water each day. So, in response to these water demands, a local bill is being considered that would allow predominantly white counties to draw water from predominantly black counties to address these particular water shortages. One impacted area is Enfield, North Carolina, and Mayor Mondale Robinson joins us now to talk about everything that's going on. Mayor, thank you so much for being with us today.
Thank you so much. Thank you for standing in for Ro as he gets some time to decompress and be with family. So I appreciate that. Yeah, thanks for having
Yes,
me.
indeed. Yeah, so for people who don't understand what these data centers are, tell me, because it is a huge processing center that needs lots of energy, and that's where the water comes in. How would you explain it on the basic 101 course level?
Listen, for so many reasons, data centers are done improperly and they are bad. They create all types of harms to communities where they are, the noise, the use of water, the diesel energy, all of that to power it. But I would say centering data centers in this moment missed the mark. It would be a local bill if it was just Franklin County trying to pass this at Franklin County. Here's the problem. The bill that we're talking about has made its way to the General Assembly of North Carolina. It is Senate Bill 214, and particularly Section 5, which basically strips the right of North Carolina majority black, three of North Carolina majority black counties: Halifax, which is the county where Enfield rests, 56% black, Warren, and also Vance County. And this white county, Franklin County, which is 70% white, is now saying through their Senate legislation representation that they should have the right to any property, not just water. It says property in that section, and interest in that property through condemnation. So they can condemn any property in these other counties without the consent or approval of elected officials in said counties. This is tragic, and it's also as American as apple pie.
You're right. So when we talk about the history of what white communities take from black communities, this is the apple pie kind of analogy that you've been referring to. What should people know about this bill in terms of whether or not it has support and what you're doing in order to try to fight it in a meaningful way?
Yeah, so right now, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to sound the alarm. This is why I came to roll in first, because if we're talking about how black people hear what's affecting us that the world might not be talking about, this is where we should be at first. So we need people talking about this because this is a civil rights issue. This is a stripping issue.
I just want to say I don't even live in North Carolina. I'm close to it, like close enough, but I don't live in North Carolina. But I will be calling the governor and just trying to be a annoyance to his ass and saying that I don't agree with the bill because, like he was saying, things happen to black communities in a box, and it does never make major news. So other black people rarely hear about it. You know what I mean? So we never have that chance to stick up as a community. Imagine if they're trying to snatch water from a predominantly black community or county, and black people from all around the nation respond. South Carolina would rethink what the fuck they was doing. You know what I mean? And that's the type of unity that we need as black people, because we can't be sitting here allowing these people to run off and do whatever. It's getting to the point where they're taking away water rights from black people, black counties. You know what I mean? Taking away land rights. Like, we can come condemn your land whenever we feel like it, even without uh proper authority from the county that you live in. I can come from a white county and come steal you, take your shit if I want to. Like, this is getting crazy. And they do this shit right under our nose, and they try it with one community, and then they let it, and then it happens. They get no backlash for it. So then they start fully going in on it. Every community, it starts popping up all around the nation. Sooner or later, all black communities will be under the same thumbprint and wondering when did this start? When did this happen? We're looking at the beginning of it right now. Them stripping our rights away from black counties. We can't just sit around and let that shit happen. You know what I mean? It's time to fight back as black people. But let's keep going.
Dr. Jones-DeWeaver, question.
Yeah, following up on that, I mean, North Carolina is one of those states where you have this split here politically between a governor that one could argue may be more amenable. We're not sure about what's going on at with the legislature, so it's a very purple state. What do you see as your best prospects for being able to get someone to step in and make a change here so that the rights of your citizens and black citizens specifically can be respected in this manner?
Yeah, and unfortunately for us, the governor, even though he may be amenable to our cries and our harms about this is not only a property right, it is a dehumanizing factor for my people, for black people, not just in where we are, but across the state. It's showing us that we don't matter as much as our white neighbors. So even if he was amenable, he couldn't do anything because of how this is set up. We need to change these Jim Crow-esque laws so that his grandson, James Crow Esquire, can't continue the long legacy of preventing black people from having full life. That happens though only as a result. I'm sorry, that happens only as a result of elections. We need to rethink and think broader than these gerrymandered districts that prevent black people from having an accurate voice across our state. And we do that by turning out voters that don't normally participate.
That's right, and that's why you are sounding the alarm on this. Let's go to Michael. Michael, question for the mayor.
Hey, Mayor Mondale, good to see you again. So my question is twofold. One, in the state legislature there in North Carolina, could you let us know who controls the state house, who controls the state senate? Number one. Number two, what are the justifications? I know you talked about the justifications of those who say own the data centers, but the people in the state legislature that are going to vote for this, right? What are their justifications to say, oh, you can take water from African-American, predominantly African-American counties, okay? But they wouldn't allow the reverse to take place.
Yeah, I mean, we know what the justification is. It's the same justification that told that white man that lived in Pennsylvania at the White House that he could turn on the East Wing without anybody's permission. It is the idea of whiteness and their life matters more than anybody, especially black people. America has a high tolerance for black suffering. So I think the justification is just that. America has a history, 400 plus year history of making sure white people are comfortable, even if it's at the expense of black lives. And I think that's where it rests. They would never, not only would they not allow black people to take the resources from this majority white county, they wouldn't even let this county, Franklin, try to take water from Carr Lake, and they stopped that and prevented that because white people enjoy that lake. They're fishing, they're swimming, they're hiking and kayaking on that lake, and they say you will not have more access to this lake.
And that's so fucking true, bro. Shout out to that black mayor, bro. That's so fucking true, because how they would never allow them to take the water from another county, but they allow them to bully us because that's just what this country does, you know what I mean? And there's nobody going to stick up for them. They know that black county, if they take the water, who's gonna rebel, who's gonna revolt, but the black people there, and nobody cares because they're surrounded by 12 more white counties. You know what I mean? That's gonna vote for it. That's all for it. You know what I mean? To see the destruction of that community. You know what I mean? It's like, why do we allow these people to destroy our communities? And just because I don't live there, don't mean it's not my community. Because it's a community where people that look like me thrive, or trying to thrive, or trying to make a life for themselves. So I count it as my community. It's my community's community. And I'd be damned, why do we keep letting these people do this? You know what I mean? Like you said, there's a long history of them stealing land. There's 400-year plus history of them taking our shit. When the fuck are we gonna just say we're done, bro? Fuck it, let's fight for the water. You want to fight for it? County versus county? Let's get down for the water. Like, and nigga, I'll fly in and help out that black county. And I'm sure there's plenty of niggas that will. You know what I mean? Because you got us fucked up, nigga. And that's just, I don't know. I'm sorry that I'm getting all hyped up and kind of like talking like that, using curse words, which I know I shouldn't be using on YouTube. But still, bro, like, it really gets me in my feelings when I start to hear stuff like this, like them stealing from our community. And like, it's crazy because a white person will sit there and try to explain to you that there is no more racism. What do you mean? You're just being a victim. You're just did it. But at the same time, shit like this will be happening every day in every state around the country, and nobody bats an eye. Nobody even cares. Like, I initially was gonna make this video before I went on vacation, which was like a week or two ago, or a week and like at least a week ago. It was a week ago, yeah, because it was like 6, 7 days. Yeah, so a week ago I was gonna make this video. Get back online, type in the title, like, should I still make this video? Nobody else talked about it because nobody else gives a fuck. You know what I mean? So I'm just gonna drop the video because I think it's important. You know what I mean? But let's keep going. The rest of these clips are pretty much people talking about these danger centers and some of the people talking about how black people are fighting back. Let's keep going.
Right now in Swain County, North Carolina, they have paused all new data centers for 12 months. It was unanimous at the last meeting that they had because residents have pushed back and said they do not want it here. County commissioners had to comply. And now Swain County can add themselves to the growing list of communities across the state of North Carolina who have pushed back and paused all new data centers. So who's next? Let's keep this momentum and keep the pressure going. They are feeling the pressure of the people and all of us. Make sure that your county joins that list.
Only reason why they will halt all production of data centers in North Carolina as a whole for 12 months is because they need to figure out where they're going to get this, who's going to foot the bill. They know you can't sell it to the North Carolinian people by saying, yeah, we're going to move these great data centers in here and it's going to bring money to the economy. But also, your cost of living is going to shoot through the fucking roof. Your light bill is going to be $700 and your water bill is going to be $500. Good luck. But the economy will get better in North Carolina. The richer will get richer. You can't sell that to the people. So they're trying to figure out a way. And you know what way they're coming up with? Hey, it ain't that bad for you. We're going to take water from the black people. We're going to take their water. Don't worry about it. We'll set the data center up. Yeah, you got to hear it and all that, but at least you won't have to pay for it. We'll make the blacks pay for it. That's when they're like, oh, okay. That's why they're trying to pass these bills and laws. We have to be careful. You have to watch out for these things. You know what I mean? And protect your community. Protect your county.
I'm Miley Kozinski, and I live 1.6 miles downstream from the Metadata Center in Beaver Dam. If you need to stand and stretch for a moment, please do. I have never in my life needed a group of people to be more alert to what I have to say. Thank you for staying so long. I'm a lifelong Wisconsin resident. I live on a horse farm, and I am an educator. For almost 50 years, a natural creek has flowed through my property. It's 20 feet wide, up to 4 feet deep. It has persisted through drought, flood, seasonal change. It's part of a connected system. Groundwater, tributaries, watersheds, aquifers, ultimately flowing into Beaver Dam Lake. Until construction began upstream on the data center, its behavior was stable and predictable. After construction started, all of that changed here in Beaver Dam. The creek began to stop flowing entirely. Without rainfall, it would abruptly return, often cloudy and opaque like milk, with enough force to cause drastic erosion and damage. This pattern repeated itself dozens of times over a single construction season, to the point that it is dry half of the time. Dust from the construction covers my yard. My grass is white, and I'm 1.6 miles away. When I drive past it, I have to pull over because the dust cloud is so thick that I can't see the front of the hood of my truck. That behavior is not consistent with natural variability. It is not explained by weather patterns, and it has never happened before. So I did what residents are told to do. I called up the Department of Natural Resources. I spoke with dedicated staff, but the system is fragmented. My reports are passed between departments, reports are lost, and at one point I was told the agency didn't even know if they had clear authority over what was going on. What I learned in this process is there is no single entity responsible for what happens downstream when large-scale construction disrupts a water system. Different permits govern different activities, locally, county level, state level, some even federal. No one is tasked at looking at the whole picture or what happens beyond the project boundary. This is not a failure of individual agency staff, it's a policy failure. The law is on the side of the businesses and not on the residents. In my case, the creek's flow now appears correlated with industrial activity upstream and the times when that construction took place, including daily blasting with dynamite. When that discharge stops, my creek stops. When it resumes, water returns suddenly. Right now, corporates are receiving fast approval tax incentives, limited review, while residents are left to prove the damage after the fact at our own expense against billion-dollar companies. This research has become my part-time job. 10 to 20 hours a week I have spent since knowing it was a data center, trying to figure out what's happening to my land. Simply sending in a water sample from my property costs $121 just to ship the sample. The cost of the test alone is going to be another $400 every time I have it tested. Water testing on my property shows elevated strontium, a very dangerous metal, and other indicators consistent with deep groundwater influence, a change that coincides with large-scale excavation, blasting upstream, and warrants independent investigation. Filters on my water system to stop this elevated metal persistence in my water is going to be over $1,000. When construction is complete, nearly 1,000 acres of my backyard will be converted from living permeable land into a paved industrial space. Land that once actively recharged groundwater, aquifers, and watersheds. That change reshapes an entire community. Farmers and local families cannot compete with billion-dollar corporations to pay for that land. And over time, the places that defined Wisconsin, rural communities, working landscapes, they're being replaced. And then the next project arrives to fill in that spot because nobody is building a home next to a data center. People are leaving. Now there's another open spot, like a second data center now being proposed in Beaver Dam. The city annexed this land from my township. I was there at the meeting when they were talking to the farmers. Alliant Energy sent a representative in to broker the deal with all the farmers in the area. If we can find a buyer for the whole shebang, will you all sell at the same time? They had 10 years to find a buyer. They knew exactly what they were doing, and they knew exactly who was going to buy that land. But we did not. Once it got annexed by the city, it goes to the county for rezoning. That is a rubber stamp in the process. There is nothing we can legally do to stop it at that point because you have to prove it is damaging to people's health, and we cannot legally prove damage before it's built. So it goes through. So you have to stop it at the city level if you want to speak up. But the city level proposed a conversation at their meeting about a TID, not about a data center. By the time we knew it was a data center, it was too late to do anything. And the residents of the township have to live now with the negative impacts of a data center that is on city property, and I'm not represented by the city. I don't have a representative to speak for me. I bought the property to have horses across from my childhood home. My parents live across the street with their horses. I wanted to be here forever. I can't even leave. I am trapped here because nobody wants to buy my land. They don't want to be near a data center. And they don't want a 20-foot empty ditch in the front yard. I am concerned at the idea that there does not seem to be a working system in place to make sure that permits are being followed. We can issue them left and right. There's not enough staff. There is one mining permit officer in the DNR for the entire state of Wisconsin. There's a miner on that flag. We have one guy for the whole state to make sure people are doing what they're supposed to be doing in that particular area. There's not enough. And yes, I nodded when the data center guy was up here because I agree that 840 does not do enough. And he put his foot in his own mouth. He said, we want to work with communities. Then do it. Why do you need a bill to do it? Do it. Be transparent. And one thing I have not heard anyone today share or talk about is, are these bills retroactive? Who is coming to save me? My safety net is gone. My township cannot say no to being annexed by the city. My city doesn't represent me. And here I sit before you. I'm counting on you. I need you. It's too late for me. I didn't get to vote no. I didn't get to speak up. I have 2 minutes at a public hearing at the city, and I am so grateful that you let us sit here so late tonight. Nobody has let me tell my whole story. Please, metaphorically, we are launching planes that are still being built, and we are forced to pilot them, and we don't know how to fly. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for being here.
I just want to point out real quick, white people problems, right? You know what I mean? My creek, the creek flowing through the property that was probably stolen from natives of this land. It has white milky substances. No, I'm sorry. All right, look. Besides her white woman tears, the whole situation is fucked because it is not just about her. It's about the land, period. And if these people are so willing to go into the futuristic or future of cities, that's what I feel like they're doing. And if you notice that a lot of these cities, smart cities that they're trying to build, a lot of the places where they're trying to build these smart cities end up flooded, burned, or fucking destroyed completely. Like Maui. Like right now in the South Georgia where all those fires were. I don't know if they're still going right now, but I know there's a bunch of wildfires in South Georgia. Coincidentally burned a bunch of towns they were trying to build smart cities in, right? Coincidentally, like, had to be a coincidence. It's like it's a coincidence that keeps happening. Like every place they want to build a smart town and they get denied, ends up getting burnt to the ground, and they get all the rights anyway. You know what I mean? So we got to be wary of these things. But I appreciate y'all for checking in with the boy. What she was saying about the land and the data centers, and it is sad that a natural creek flowing through her land or flowing anywhere is being destroyed, or being destroyed by fucking data centers, AI for AI. Like they're trying to push it so far into the future that I feel like they're forgetting about the planet that we're on. Like they're literally trying to robotically recreate our planet. Like they don't give a fuck if they fuck it up. And I think it's up to us to fight, especially black people, because this is our planet. We inherited this planet. They're just guests here, and we're allowing these fucking guests to destroy our shit. But I appreciate y'all for checking in. Like, comment, subscribe. We hit 100 subscribers. I truly appreciate that. You know what I mean? If you fuck with the boy, give me another sub. Give me a like. Give me a hype. Give me something. But you the shit, no flies. We out.